very focused mindset. I don't allow my mind to wander or to roam or to drift. I don't allow my mind to just be idle. I've tried very intentionally to keep my mind focused on a task or a goal or a vision or objective or something, because idleness is one of the greatest tools for self-destruction and self-sabotage. And so many people are idle, whether we're scrolling social media idly, whether we're engaged in meaningless conversations, or we're going to places that, we really probably shouldn't be going to. It's not helping us to go any further with our lives. A lot of people just idle. And I always tell people you got to make the investments in the things that are really going to improve your life and move your life forward. And I think it's why some people just say, Jamel, you're just odd. Um, you know, you're always talking about being focused and being strategic and being intentional and doing all this stuff. And that's just not realistic. I'm just living my life. Well, that's fine. But I always tell people in the scheme and the scope of things and you living your life, do understand that there will come a day in all of our lives where the clock will run out. We won't have any more time. We won't have any more opportunity. And all you will have is the excuses you made for why you didn't live the life you were born for. Excuses are the architects of an average life. And the reason that so many people are not living the life that they want to live is because of the excuses they make. We keep lying to ourselves and telling us that we have all the time in the world. And I keep telling people time is a non-renewable resource. If people ask me all the time, why do you go at the speed and the passion that you go with? I understand that I have a small window of opportunity to make an impact in this world. And one day this clock is going to stop. I'm going to breathe that last breath and I'm going to exit this world, and I won't be able to make excuses. I'm going to owe God an explanation for how did I live my life. And I want to be able to say that I lived it intentionally, I lived it purposefully, I lived it significantly, and that I made a difference in my lifetime and generation. And so I tell people all the time, I love myself enough and I value what I carry enough not to allow people to waste my time. So, when people show me who they are and I believe them, I don't let them waste my time. You're not getting on my calendar. You're not going to waste my time on the phone. You're not going to waste my time on a video chat. You're not going to waste my time when there are more important things that I can be doing. I'm pouring into things that is going to contribute something meaningful, that is going to multiply impact and cause uh, whatever seed I sow to manifest in abundance in that soil or that person's life. And you got to live your life the same way. And people won't understand it. You're going to catch a lot of criticism. There'll be people that say you think you're better. There'll be people that won't understand. There'll be people that think you're supposed to always be available or accessible. But you have an assignment to do. You have a purpose to fulfill. And you got to give that purpose everything that you got. Because like I said, when that clock runs out, I'm going to be able to know that I lived this life to the fullest, that I made a difference, I made a significant contribution to my lifetime and generation, and that I did something that will speak well beyond my generation and my lifetime. That's how we know we're experiencing life at its best. I also believe that personally, I spend very little time thinking about or visiting my past. At the end of the day, there is nothing I can change about the past. And this is what I don't, this is one of those psychological concepts that I'm still unpacking. If I don't have the ability to change the past, why do we waste so much time living there? Why do we spend so much time saying, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, I would have done this differently? Well, guess what? It's a new day. The sun has risen again, and you have the opportunity to start over. I can't go back to yesterday. I can't go back 5 years from now. I'm sure if I look hard enough, there's something I would have done differently, but I don't even let my mind go there because I have right now, I have today, I have 24 hours. What can I do with this 24 hours that's going to make the difference? And let me tell you something. If I sow idleness and emptiness into the ground of today, I cannot be surprised when I get nothingness and emptiness in my tomorrow. A lot of times we want to get in tomorrow and we want all of these possibilities into tomorrow and we didn't plan anything today. If you plant 6 hours of Netflix and hanging out with the same people that aren't going anywhere and scrolling the same timeline that you scroll every weekend to see what everybody else is doing, then don't be surprised tomorrow when nothing is different about your life. You know, we live in this culture, in this society where everybody thinks because they speak positive thoughts and positive words and, you know, they say positive vibes or whatever, you know, they think that's going to change their life. It takes more than positive thoughts and words. It takes intentional action and work and consistency to make your life different. And I want people to understand the power of that concept. At the end of the day, there is nothing I can change about the past. There is nothing valuable that my past can say to me at this point in my life. I want you to really get that. There is nothing valuable that my past can say to me at this point in my life. How much time is wasted living in a memory and attempting to recapture seasons that have expired in our lives? So many people, I listen to them. If I could just go back to college, if I could just go back to high school, if I could just go back, well, guess what? You can't go back. That time is over in your life. But what you can do is you can use the gift of today. I always tell people to honor the gift of today, honor the gift of this moment. It's why I'm so, I don't know, what's the word, conscientious, I guess, about time. You know, people like Jamel, what is it with Jamel and time? It's always time, and he's always looking at his watch and talking about time and moments and opportunities because I've lived long enough where I see people, excuse me, and they waste so much time. And then they'll come to me, a person like me, with this attitude and this victim complex, and they'll begin to say, you know, oh, I don't have time, or life hasn't been fair to me. I haven't had the opportunity. And then we begin to audit their lives and their time, and they've had an abundance of time. They just wasted it. They've never valued it in their lives. And I just know the value of time, and I've chosen to squeeze it and to exhaust everything I can get out of it. So, you know, a lot of people like, oh, Jamel is just like the no person. We know he's going to say no. He's not going to do this. He's not going to do. It's not that I'm being difficult or, you know, it's not a sense of arrogancy or pride. It's just that there are things that I need to get done. And honestly, most of you listen to me, it's things you need to get done too. You just keep putting it off and wasting time and telling yourself that you don't have the opportunity, but you do have the opportunity. The problem is you don't value the time that you have, and I value time. It's the only reason I've written 13 books. It's the only reason you're listening to hundreds of hours of podcast, and it's the only reason that you see my content on platforms and different things, because I know the value of time and I use it to the best of my ability. And I'm very intentional about how I use it. I'm very purposeful about who I give time to. When I see people don't value time, I give less and less of it. And ultimately, those people get dismissed out of my life, because one thing you're not going to do is waste my time. And I pour into places that I believe understand the value of the contribution that's being made, and that I know is going to do something with what I gave them and going to go forward in their lives. And you got to be the same way. You got to pour into places where you can multiply value and stop pouring into empty places that deplete your life. But that's a whole nother discussion. One of the things we have to understand is some people think my thinking is a bit extreme, and some have even said I'm unrealistic. But everyone is entitled to their opinion. However, when I examine the lives of these individuals, I discover quickly they are some of the most unhappy and the most unfulfilled people in the world. And why is that? You were never created to live in the prison of your past. So, you know, a lot of us, we get duped because we believe the highlight reels and the hype of social media, and they're smiling in their pictures, but they're sleepless at night, and they're crying, and they're depressed, and they're not happy. and they're trying to sell you this false image that they're not living, and you're wasting